It's Waxing Lyrical, baby.
Hello, Waxers, and welcome to Waxing Lyrical with Mainz and Dutch. I'm your host, Mainz. My colleague, a man who has 15 tabs open on Google Chrome, it's Mr. Neil Dutton. How are we, Neil?
It was a necessary byproduct of a flowing article.
No one needs 15 tabs open, you're a psychopath. It's just plain and simple.
Well,
I've already called the police, and they will be round at the end of this podcast.
They'll never take me alive.
Against my better judgment, Neil, we're on this podcast because you decreed, because every other Tom, Dick and Harry, parenthetically, who know more than me about the draft, are doing a mock draft. We also had to do it. I'm nervous, I'm not going to lie to you. I can make a fool of myself easily. I prefer not to do it when I know I'm going to make a fool of myself.
Balls to the wall, my friend. Quiet men have never changed the world.
It's true, Neil. It's true. So what we've done is we've used predict pick on NFL.com to give our 32 picks. We will post we will then obviously save them, and they will be there, I guess, forever.
Of course, as well, it should be pointed out that we have had to go in and make late changes to the pick because the Seahawks and the Chiefs decided to do some business.
The Seahawks and the Chiefs did do business. I like Andy Reid, and I think we've made that abundantly clear on this show over, I don't know, the multiple years we've been doing it. His penchant to ignore domestic violence in people's background is becoming overly concerning.
Yeah. Once is Once is a coincidence. Twice is, I forget what it was. It was a Bond line.
Yeah,
what was it? Once is happenstance, twice is coincidence, third is enemy action.
This is, I mean, Frank Clark is a decent footballer. Of that there is no doubt, and it leaves me cold, Neil. These type of situations leave me very cold.
He's a scumbag who 2 years ago, so whilst in the NFL, invited a woman who was writing about domestic violence and NFL's enabling of domestic abusers to come round and clean his fish tank. He's scum.
Yeah, I was going to try and be, less so harsh, but Neil's absolutely 100% right. I'm not sure what the Chiefs are trying to do, really, considering they kind of got rid of D4 and got D4 back. But, okay, fair enough. If you want.
Paid more for the privilege.
A lot more. I think he's getting 105. I know it's one of them random numbers that he will never get, but that random number he will never get is $105 million. It's a lot of money you won't get, but yeah. So today, no Weird World, no interview, just me and Neil, 32 picks, trying desperately to not make this last 4 hours. So we'll try and be as quick as possible, mainly due to the fact a few of them we probably don't know tremendous amounts of and may have only seen brief highlights on.
Was it the Vikings who 2 years in a row forfeited their first round pick because they took too long?
I think they did it once at least, yeah. Which is cool. Like you've been doing this for months. You've got an army of people helping you, and then you still don't know who you're gonna pick 15 minutes after someone gives you the opportunity to do so.
Yeah, you've sat there, you've scouted all these players, you've put up your board, you've spoke to everyone, you've made your decisions, you've narrowed it down, and you choose that moment to go for a piss.
Exactly. Neil, before we start, how have you done your picks? Are you? Are you the GMs? Are you a mixture of both? Have you stolen Daniel Jeremiah's or Mel Kiper's or Todd McShay's? What have you done?
I'm just pretty much using the predictor pick on NFL.com, the team needs. I've looked at the team needs. If there's an obvious player that I think suits that team, then there's a couple of cases where I may have gone against what they felt the team needs. But generally, it's I'm guessing.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone's guessing. One of our close personal friends, Andy Symes, thinks this is a complete joke, and he's usually proven to be pretty accurate by the fact there's loads of 7-round draft picks who become Hall of Famers and a load of first rounders who are out the league in 3 years. But what I've tried to do similar is listen to a lot of stuff, read a lot of stuff. First 10 or whatever, I'm going to be much more comfortable in than when we get to 32. Considering there probably will have been about 5 trades by then, and I haven't got any in mind.
Oh yeah, no trades in mind. And as I say, the first trade will be someone trying to get into the top 5, and it'll destroy everything.
Yeah.
Then we just have to, then we look back and just think, okay, well, did we get any pick positions right? So if we said someone was going to go 11th, did they actually go 11th? We'll say, then if the team trades down but still takes the player, we were right there. There's so many ways to prove yourself right.
That's one of our favourite tactics as well.
Exactly. There's just so many more ways to prove yourself wrong.
So Neil, you go first. Arizona Cardinals at 1, please.
Kyler Murray, quarterback.
Yeah, I've gone for Kyler Murray too, so we may as well talk about it together. Stafford,
Too much smoke.
Too much smoke, I guess. Can you tell me the last quarterback under 6 foot to be drafted in the first round? That's right. That complete nutter silence is because it's never happened, and I know that probably means that Drew Brees was oh no, he was first pick in the second round, right?
Was.
And he's also 6 foot, although I think he would have had really high shoes on that day.
He was wearing platforms.
Yeah. Kyler Murray not only will be going in the first round, he'll be going first. I'm with you. Too much smoke for this not to happen. The interesting thing becomes is if Kyler Murray doesn't go 1, I don't think he goes in the top 10.
Yeah, I can see that. Not as it stands at the moment. I think if he doesn't go 1, there will be a large amount of horse trading. But let's say, as the top 10 stands now, if he doesn't go 1, that top 10 does not take Kyler Murray.
Yep. Okay. Neil, who's number 2 for San Francisco?
Nick Bosa, despite the fact he's an idiot.
Yeah. For those who didn't see, he liked a Instagram post from, I assume I'm going to put quote unquote friend, who said a lot of hashtags that should never be said out loud. And be better than that. The guy who said it, and also Nick Bosa. I haven't gone for Nick Bosa there. I've gone for Quinnen Williams, as I think he's awesome. I actually have seen him play for Alabama. So Quinnen Williams, who is D lineman from Alabama. There you go.
See, I didn't go Quinnen Williams because I just think that, as good as he probably is, San Francisco have made a little cottage industry of picking that type of player, and they pretty much could fill their entire defense with them, whereas Nick Bosa, I think, is a little bit different. Obviously, he's more of an edge player.
Who's 3, Neil, for the Jets?
3, keeping in the AFC East with his namesake, is Josh Allen.
Josh Allen.
Who's a pass rusher. So he'll be going to the New York Jets.
From Kentucky.
From Kentucky?
I've gone for Nick Bosa, because obviously he's still available. Do you know what I find cool about this is, or what I miss most about the drafts in recent years is, with the Jets being so high, I miss all the Jets fans booing in Radio City Music Hall as they picked the wrong player. The
Jets fan saying, with all the sadness of his soul, what is Kotite doing when they passed on Warren Sapp it's one of the most poignant things I've ever seen in my life.
I do recommend watching Elway to Marino, which is an ESPN 30 for 30, of which the Jets are just a passerby in that, and it's quite hilarious. Who have you got the Oakland Raiders taking at 4?
Quinnen Williams.
I've got them taking Josh Allen. So we have got them the first 4 in not the same order, but the same personnel. 5th pick, Neil, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Awful lot of directions they could go.
Mainly due to the fact they're garbage is probably why.
Mainly due to the fact they're garbage, which is why they're picking 5th. However, I went with Jeffrey Simmons, even though he spells his name wrong.
Because he spells it with a J.
No, he's Jeffery. It's like Alshon Jeffery. Not Jeffrey, Jeffery.
Oh, yeah, so he is, yeah.
He is a defensive tackle from Mississippi State.
Mississippi State, he is.
But I suspect, though, that he may, if he does drop, he may be on the Kansas City Chiefs radar, because in 2016 he was arrested for punching a woman.
So I actually know that the Simmons backstory. You should never punch a woman. I would recommend reading this thing about that, as he punched a woman who was beating the crap out of his own mum. So it's still not acceptable. However, there are different factors in that one compared to some of the other ones where, as you said, for example, Frank Clark asking a woman to clean his fish tank. I've gone for my fifth pick. I've gone for Devin White, who's a linebacker from LSU. As I said, the Bucks aren't good and haven't been good on defense, so I would be stunned if they didn't go defense here. Because I think you kind of miss, like, oh, they were rubbish, but they seem to score 40 points every week, regardless of who. And so what they did was they thought they'd get a offensive-minded head coach in to assist the offense. I mean, and the offense wasn't really the problem.
Yeah, a bit like hiring a nymphomaniac to help your adultering wife.
Yeah. Next one, Neil. 6th pick, New York Football Giants.
Ed Oliver. Because it totally ignores the situation they actually need, and somehow they fall into a good player who they'll trade away in a couple of years.
I've got them taking Daniel Jones. Who's probably the 4th best quarterback in the draft, but for some reason it seems to suggest that they fell in love with him.
I suspect John Barshard would piss himself until week 1 if they took Daniel Jones at 6.
Well, if it takes focus away from pissing himself at Washington, that would be helpful. So I've gone for Daniel Jones. Not because he's the best quarterback, just because,
Mike Francesa says so.
And he's got stock, hasn't he? Because he's with that David Cutcliffe and he's mates with the money. You know what I mean? No, but
it's the quarterback equivalent of I once sat next to Sean McVay in a lift.
Exactly.
I once went to a passing academy with David Cutcliffe. Oh, he's our boy.
But it sounds weird, and no, but like it's serious. Like people pay attention to these things.
Don't see too many other quarterbacks who've been coached by Cutcliffe taking the NFL by storm, though, do you? So is it just possible that the talented sons of a former NFL quarterback may have had something to do with this as well?
No idea, Neil. No idea.
Yeah.
No idea. Who have you got the London/Jacksonville Jaguars taking?
TJ Hawkinson, tight end. Can help obviously in the ground game. He's a very good blocker. They want to run the ball, and also he gives them and Big Dick Nick another weapon in the passing game.
So it's not Hockenheim?
No, it's not Hockenheim. It's not Hockenheim. It's not Hoffenheim. It's not Hofmeister. It's Hawkinson.
Okay, Hawkinson. Okay.
It's not Hofbrau.
I do love a Hofbrau. I've got them taking Juwan. I think it's Juwan Taylor, although it's Jawaan. Yeah, he was a offensive lineman from Florida, so stays in the state and also helps them. I know they're not great on the line, and I think BDN needs that kind of help. So get him stood up will be a good thing. Have you got the Lions taking at 8, Neil? The
Lions have shown they love to do one thing. San Francisco love taking defensive tackles.
They can't pick a New England Patriots here, Neil. The Patriots aren't in college.
They have gone for an offensive lineman, though, and they've gone with Andre Dillard. Because ultimately, if you're going to make your offense boring, you may as well plough as much of your draft capital into the line and then not allow Matt Stafford to pass to Kenny Golladay.
Let it go. I've got them taking Montez Sweat, which is probably a leap for them considering injury concerns and whatever. But he's from Mississippi State.
Does seem to be falling in inverted commas, which is, I always love that sense of he's falling down draft boards. Teams aren't touching their draft boards. They stopped doing that in March.
Teams are convincing you, reporter man, that they're not going to pick this guy because they secretly want him.
If NFL teams
no one else
if NFL teams are sending all of their scouts out of the building a week before the draft, they are not touching their draft boards.
Is that a story, Neil, or is that not a story?
No, that's not a story, because if it was any other team, it would be a story. It's the Oakland Raiders. John Gruden has unleashed the second coming of Al Davis.
Who have you got the Bills taking at 9?
Greedy Williams, cornerback. They're not great at cornerback. They've obviously shed a bit of talent there the last few years. Stephon Gilmore, Ronald Darby. Greedy's just one of those great names I think the NFL needs more of.
I've got them taking Jonah Williams, offensive lineman from Alabama. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think you mentioned this in our group chat this week, Neil. Buffalo Bills now have all the running backs in the NFL. So if you've got all the running backs in the NFL, you may as well have a good offensive line. Yeah,
wishbone formation, activate.
Exactly. Who've you got the Broncos taking at 10?
I've got the Broncos taking Jawan Taylor. Their offensive line, as I say, was not great. Joe Flacco needs to be protected more than Keenum. Keenum is more mobile than Flacco. If they think Flacco is entering his prime, then it stands to reason they need to protect him. So I've got them bulking up the line.
Do you know what I like about mock drafts is they don't really make much sense. And what did our friend tell us, Neil? Charles Davis tell us, Neil. He told us one thing: always put something in the draft that makes people come and have a look at it. At 10, the Denver Broncos pick Drew Lock, quarterback, Missouri. Listen to this. This is on the overview, and this is like a wet fever dream for John Elway here. Prototypical combination.
That's all you need. Straight away, Elway's got a boner.
Of size and arm talent.
Yeah, just do it. Prototypical Elway. Stop the film. I've seen enough.
I just look and think, well, if he wasn't John Elway, he probably already would have been fired. But he's still, and I'm sure, as you said, Joe Flacco coming into his prime, cool story in that. But they still need a quarterback. So, yeah, that's who I've got. Who have you got? The Bengals taking at 11.
But the Bengals taking Jonah Williams. As I say, Andy Dalton actually wasn't terrible last year. If you actually look, obviously throwing the fancy slant on this, when he had AJ Green in the lineup, Dalton was averaging 22 fancy points per game. Only one quarterback all season averaged more than 22 fancy points per game, and that was Patrick Mahomes. So obviously they want AJ Green back healthy, they want Dalton healthy, they want to protect him, because this is probably one of the last years they're going to have Dalton unless he absolutely balls out. So they'll get the most money they can out of him. The best way to do that is ensure he stays upright.
I hate it when you logically do something and then I say the Bengals are picking Dwayne Haskins because he's a talented quarterback and should not be going at 11. So, in theory, everyone didn't think Dwayne Haskins would get past 6. So there's absolutely no way he gets past the Bengals at 11. As we discussed earlier, if we get to 9 and Dwayne Haskins hasn't been taken, Bruce Allen and Daniel Snyder are on the phone to Buffalo at 9, to Denver at 10, because they want Haskins, because they know the Bengals are going to pick him.
Sell the farm.
Yeah, they'll be selling. They'd try and sell FedEx Field, but no one would want to buy it off them.
No.
Because it's a shithole in the middle of nowhere that you can't get to. Well, let me rephrase that. People from Washington can't get to because they don't want to. People from Philadelphia, they can get there dead easy. Do you know that? Because 50,000 of the fuckers turned up the last time he played. That's how I know. Can't be that hard to get to, can it?
And the time before that.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And all the other times. Neil, the Green Bay Packers, who you got them taking at 12?
I've got them taking Devin White. I know you went You had him going to Tampa Bay at 5.
Tampa Bay,
I
yeah.
just feel that while he's probably the best player at his position in this year's draft, 5 is an awful lot it's an awfully high price to pay for someone who you might have to take off the field on third down.
Yeah, true. I've got this is where we go. This is like the Green Bay Packers will never do this, but I've got them taking T.J. Hawkinson, because they've got, I don't know if you know this. Like, yeah, Jimmy Graham's about as good a tight end as me and you are at the moment, and they've got Aaron Rodgers, and you probably should surround him with talent. I know the previous regime decided that wasn't a good idea. Cool. They've all been fired. And I've also heard that Aaron Rodgers is a diva. So why don't I just placate him for the next 5 years while he's still my quarterback and give him players like T.J. Hawkinson?
And obviously, of course, the Packers have got another first-round pick later on, so that's something of a luxury pick.
Yeah.
Whereas if they want to nail this one.
Who have you got the Dolphins going for, Neil?
Rashawn Gary, obviously some news has come out that he's, has a shoulder injury, I believe, but teams think he can play through the year with it. Personally, don't want to buy the car that the indicators aren't working on. But, Miami, you do you.
Breaking news, Neil. You're going to see Rashawn Gary in a few picks, and there'll be a team who have always bought cars without the indicators on. I've got Jeffrey Simmons going here. I always think when you're a team like Miami and you're secretly tanking, defensive line is probably a good place to go because you can be talented and you can do really well and not matter as greatly as some other positions. So
see Sue and Domicong for reasons.
Exactly right. He can be great and we can still lose 13 games and get to it. This is gonna be awesome. Have you got the Falcons taking a 14, Neil?
The Falcons like speed and lacked it last season, so I've got them taking Devin Bush, who I think, if memory serves, is quicker than the other Devin. Let me just see, 40-yard dash time, is it here? No, it's not there. So yeah, they needed reinforcement on defense. Offensively, they were not terrible, but they couldn't stop anyone. So I know some people, maybe been mocking them another wide receiver. Yeah, they really don't need one. I breaking news.
Someone's going to talk me. Someone's going to talk me through that. Like they went for that last year. That guy scored 8 bajillion fantasy points, and you've still got Julio Jones. And people are thinking, do you know what they need? Another one. Why?
Yeah.
Like there's teams across the NFL. Hi, I'm Washington, who haven't got any wide receivers. So screw you. Stop taking all the best ones.
Yeah, Atlanta having 3,000-yard receivers somehow stops them allowing other teams' wide receivers to run right past them.
Speaking of not allowing other wide receivers on other teams to run right past them, I've got the Atlanta Falcons taking Greedy Williams, who you already had gone, but I've got him going here, cornerback from LSU. Tall, long, and disruptive. Sounds like
a Dan Quinn corner.
Who've you got Washington taking, Neil?
Dwayne Haskins.
Yeah, well, he gets this far. I just can't see him getting this far. Like, because that would suggest like the fates of allowed Washington some good fortune, and that never happens.
In a rare, sensible pick, Washington allowed the board to come to them and got what they actually wanted. No,
I've got them picking Rashawn Gary because he's got one arm. Yeah, he's talented, but yeah, he's got labrum issues, and you put him alongside freaky triangle of height, weight, and speed. It's great, that, isn't it? Yeah, hopefully gets to the edge, and you stick him next to the other Alabama boys, and we should be all right.
Yeah, Washington do seem to be, trying to prove that myth of, if an NFL team played Alabama, what would happen? Give Washington a few more years, it'd be like, well, here we can test this experiment.
Well, to be fair, Gary's from Michigan, isn't he? But yeah, what we forgot. So you picked Haskins here, Neil, at 15. I had Haskins going at 11. Do you know? Do you know the last time a Big Ten QB was taken in the top 10 of a draft?
Yes, I believe it was 1982.
No. 1995, Mr. Kerry Collins.
Kerry Collins, of course. That was the last time a Big Ten was taken.
Big Ten. Yeah,
the last time an Ohio State one was even further.
Was even further. Yeah, no, it's a long, long time ago. So that's something that would still be happening on our boards.
I think this one for me was a team to player pick, not necessarily a number pick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Who have you got? The Panthers taking at 16.
Panthers need offensive line help. I mean, I've seen some rumours today that they've been looking at quarterbacks. Don't be silly. Let's not be silly. Come on. No, there's been enough silliness.
No, but Neil, that does question. We actually don't know how good Cam Newton's shoulder is, do we? I mean, I'm just saying. I'd suck this year though if that was going to be the case and get a better one next year. But what each their own.
So anyway, I think they need offensive line help. So I've got them taking Cody Ford, who memory serves is an offensive tackle. No, he's a guard.
He's a guard
from. Oh, of course, yeah, he's one of Baker's and one of Kyler's.
When Kyler Murray realises when he's in the NFL that his offensive line is worse now than it was in college, as we discussed in a podcast a few weeks ago.
Extremely rare combination of size, mass, and athleticism.
Like it. If Cam Newton's back, and I hope he is because I like him. What he's good at is lobbing it dead far. There's not much touch. You don't see many Jerry Rice-esque routes being run by his wide receivers. And with that being the case, Neil, DK Metcalf just has to run really fast in a straight line, and he will. So I've got them taking DK Metcalf. You've got the Giants taking with the pick they got for swap. So who's their replacement for Odell Beckham Jr., Neil?
Their replacement for Odell Beckham Jr., they'll be very happy to know, is DeAndre Baker of Georgia. He's a cornerback. Now, I do know that this pick may make Fred Challoner very upset because I know he loves the boy Baker, but it does seem like a very Gettleman thing to do.
Go on, Neil. No, carry on.
No, we've got rid of the real trouble in the team, i.e. the talented player. Let's stock up on positions that players like Odell Beckham will look to attack in future years. Not that Baker's a bad player. As I say, I don't think he's a bad player at all.
Yeah, he's just going to be lumbered with that thing. I've got them taking Ed Oliver, who you had them taking at 6. So he's from Houston. Lots of elite, high-end foot quickness, agility, and fluidity. I love reading these things because I don't really know what loads of them mean. Built low and plays with leverage on his side.
Now, if he's still here, if he hasn't gone off the board, as I say, around this time, there are teams that will start looking to move up, and the Philadelphia Eagles will be one of them.
Yeah, well, they can do one. We got no drop. We're not doing trades in this, so do one.
Because I know that Case Keenum would really love to face Ed Oliver and Fletcher Cox.
Well, who wouldn't, Neil? Who wouldn't? Who have we got? The Minnesota Vikings taking an 18.
18, I have them basically going with what they go with. Big bloody defensive players. I've got Dexter Lawrence from Clemson.
Good pick. I've got them taking Andre Dillard, who you had earlier in the thing. 6'5", offensive lineman from Washington State. Don't know if you know, Kirk Cousins nearly died last year running for his life. So offensive line help may be something he would like.
Mm-hmm.
Who have you got the Tennessee Titans taking, Neil?
Similar vein, I have them taking Christian Wilkins, also from Clemson.
I also have them
Same
taking
position.
Christian Wilkins from Clemson. Go us. That's the first time we picked the same person since pick 1.
Yep.
Who you got number 20, Neil, for the Pittsburgh Steelers?
I have them filling the Antonio Brown void, but actually it's probably more like the Martavis Bryant void, and I have them taking DK Metcalf.
Nice. I'm sure he'll get on really well with Ben. I've got them taking Devin Bush, the linebacker from Michigan. 21, Neil, the Seattle Seahawks.
The first of their two picks.
First of the now 2 picks, yes. Who have you got them taking?
I've got them taking a safety in Jonathan Abram. He's from Mississippi State. No Earl Thomas. The Legion of Boom obviously is now long since gone. We're now into the third iteration of it. I think Abram is one of the best safeties around.
I changed picks kind of slightly here to make this one not a flyer, but slightly different in terms of injury and whatever. And I've got them taking Hollywood Brown, mainly because I didn't want you to have him and didn't want him on the board. So I know with 2 first-round picks now, the Liz Frank injury becomes less concerning. Will you get full production out of him next year? Maybe not, but he is... what's his comp, Neil? Deshaun Jackson. Sounds good for Russell Wilson. Sounds good for Russell Wilson. Who have we got? The Ravens taking at 22.
Well, the Ravens are crying out for help at wide receiver. Their current wide receiver depth chart is Willie Snead and Chris Moore. So I have them taking Marquise Brown. Like I say, I would hate the landing spot because he'd have no fantasy appeal at all. He wouldn't get no volume. We will be banking on the 2 receptions, 75 yards and a touchdown. And that's dangerous to bank on. So I would hate the pick, but I can see the logic behind it.
I've gone for Greg Little, offensive lineman from Mississippi.
That name still just...
Yeah, I know. It's not his fault, though. But yeah, so... yeah, there's no wide receivers, and their quarterback's going to run a lot, so they probably need as many offensive linemen. The Buffalo approach, shall we say. Neil, who are the Houston Texans taking at 23?
If the Houston Texans do not select an offensive lineman with this pick or move up to take one, their whole front office should be fired during the draft. Unless they deep down want to see Deshaun Watson killed. So I have them taking Garrett Bradbury, who is a centre, I believe. Yeah, he's centre from North Carolina State.
I don't work for the front office, so I've got them taking Noah Fant, because another thing you do is give Deshaun Watson more weapons. So go. Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
The only issue I have with Fant, and especially it comes down again with Houston, we've seen what they want to do with their tight ends, and that is throw no marks there who can block. It's not Noah Fant's best attribute. He is more of a move tight end, but as you say, it does give Deshaun Watson an interesting weapon. I mean, he's not Jimmy Graham as a blocker, and yes, this is an anti-Jimmy Graham podcast. It's just not what he...
Just setting him on fire multiple times today.
It's just not what he does well compared to his other talents. But as I say, if they are not looking to bulk up their offensive line, then I don't know what they're doing.
You don't know what you're doing. Who have you got the Raiders taking with their second pick, Neil?
Now, the Raiders had a pass rusher and then decided they didn't want him. So I have them trying to get a reinforcement on the edge, and that's Clemson defensive end Clelin Ferrell.
Nice. I've got them taking Dexter Lawrence, who's still on the board for me. And yeah, he's an Oakland Raider if ever I've seen one. He's 342 pounds and 6'4". That's a ginormous dude.
Mm-hmm.
Neil, let's get on to it. Who have we got the Philadelphia Eagles taking?
Well, as I've speculated, they would like Marquise Brown, as you've intimated. I feel they may look to move up if Ed Oliver starts to drop. Assuming he doesn't, I have them taking a safety. Malcolm Jenkins is getting up there in age. Rodney McLeod is going to be coming back from an injury. They've got a few people there, but no real difference makers. So I have them taking the fabulously named Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, who's a safety out of Florida.
That's a great name.
Mm-hmm.
I also have them taking the safety as someone who's already been picked in your draft, and that's Jonathan Abram. I thought he did the latest Star Trek movies, but obviously I was mistaken, as he's a safety from Mississippi State.
So much lens flare.
Loves a lens flare. Loves a lens flare and annoying trekkers. Neil, who are the Indianapolis Colts picking at 26?
Trekkies. I have them taking wide receiver N'Keal Harry. Now, some people, obviously, they have T.Y. Hilton. They signed Devin Funchess. N'Keal Harry is a bit of a polarising figure. People don't know exactly what to make of him, but he could be their big slot receiver. Obviously, he's with Andrew Luck, so this would make him fantasy relevant, even as a rookie, even with other people around him.
I've also got them taking a wide receiver. However, I've got them taking AJ Brown, who's the wide receiver from Ole Miss. So
now he is a slot receiver, I believe.
Yeah,
but did play more on the outside when DK Metcalf got injured.
27, who have you got with the Raiders taking their third pick? I'd be stunned if the Raiders had all three picks, by the way. That would surprise me. It
would surprise me. Especially, we can assume that Gruden must be listening a little bit to Mike Mayock.
Me and you.
Yeah. I've got them taking tight end Noah Fant. They lost Jared Cook. Noah Fant has been comped to a young Cook. So, as you say, third pick, give Derek Carr, who at this stage is still Derek Carr, give him some more weapons.
I have got them going with Irv Smith, tight end from Bama.
I could tell you some things about Irv Smith.
Go on, Neil. Tell me those 600. Talk me through the 600 words that you accidentally deleted because you got too many tabs.
Yeah, there we go. I had 600 words for his. In my article for Numberfire, I am pre-writing the review of the player and the prospect before we put the landing spot in. So 600 words of it. Went to find a link to an article someone else had written about him. Went back to link to it and pressed the damn X button as opposed to in the body of the text. So yay me.
That's why you don't have 15 tabs open, ladies and gents. Neil, have you got the Los Angeles Chargers taking at 28? I said LA. Bam, bam, bam.
Yeah. I've got them taking Byron Murphy, who's a cornerback, who's someone they can, allow to play in zone while the Patriots pick them apart again in playoffs or whatnot.
Poor Phil Rivers. I've got them taking DeAndre Baker. Shall be made up. He's awesome and is a winner, and hopefully will be great in zone as the Patriots pick him apart again. Who have you got the Seahawks taking at 29?
Well, the Seahawks, I have them taking Montez Sweat. I say they've lost a pass rusher. Montez Sweat apparently is falling down the draft boards. Yeah, of course he is.
He's falling yours.
Yeah, he's got apparently the same medical condition that Maurice Hurst had last year. Something wrong with his heart, but he's never had an incident with it. So I think it's a warning sign for some teams. He's a edge rusher from Mississippi State.
I've got them taking Byron Murphy, who Neil just got the LA Chargers taking. Cornerback from Washington, so from the area, so to speak. Last three, Neil. Who have you got the Packers taking? 30.
I've got them taking Dalton Reisner, who's an offensive tackle. He's from Kansas State. They have their veterans at the tackle positions coming up either to the end of their contracts or the end of their careers. So I say, if we're gonna roll the dice with Aaron Rodgers, it makes sense to try and keep him upright as well.
I've gone with Garrett Bradbury for the same kind of idea. So he was not on Neil's board anymore, but was still on mine. So Garrett Bradbury to the Packers. Neil, who have you got the Los Angeles Rams taking?
Los Angeles Rams, I have selecting Eric McCoy, who is a centre. I believe they've lost their centre. Their offensive line, they obviously lost Roger Saffold as well at left guard. They don't have they have some needs where you think, oh, you could stand an upgrade there, but it's never a bad idea to get a centre to, anchor your offensive line for years to come, if that's what, if you want to commit to Jared Goff.
I messed about with the last two. I'll be honest. I've got the Rams at 31 taking Josh Jacobs, who's the running back from Alabama. Mainly due to the fact that I'm really concerned by Todd Gurley, and I don't know if he can stay fit. And last year, that team is really designed for a running back, proven by the fact that C.J. Anderson ran all over the place and he's not very good. So to get someone with talent like Josh Jacobs could be a benefit.
So the worry is that they went out of their way to say that Todd Gurley was healthy when he wasn't. And now they come out and say, yeah, he's really not healthy. It's like, okay, you've denied you had the problem for this long. Now you've eventually had the nerve to come out and say, yes, it is a problem. It must be a big one.
Exactly right. So that's me. And then New England Patriots, Neil. Who have you got them taking?
See, the Patriots, as odd as it sounds, do have a lot of needs. Not least, obviously, wide receiver. And obviously, the speculation now, will they look to take this late pick and draft a successor to Tom Brady? But what's the point? He's never going away. I have them taking a defensive tackle, Jerry Tillery from Notre Dame.
Okay.
Apparently, he's on fire. That's right.
Everyone Neil just got up and left, by the way. I've got them picking Ryan Finley, the quarterback from NC State. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what you say. They're picking a quarterback this year. That doesn't mean that Tom Brady won't be there for another 5 years, but they'll turn Ryan Finley into like 15 draft picks.
Yeah, that will be an awesomely high second round pick they'll get for him in 2024.
Correct, Neil. Correct. Neil, 32 picks. Well done. In about 40 minutes. Even weller done. That will take us days.
I will put this together and I will screenshot it. I will tweet it out. Obviously, you can tweet it as well from your account and from our shared account.
Excellent. I can't wait. Neil, I'd ask where people can read your great stuff on but I'm not going to. Where can people read you on that?
On the ether. I wrote a piece for RotoViz this week about 3 players who ended last season on injured reserve ridiculously early, who could be late round values in fantasy drafts. That's on RotoViz. I have a few players who I'm writing the report and will write the landing spot reaction piece for after the draft. Those players are Andy Isabella, wide receiver, Will Greer, quarterback, Devin Singletary, running back, and Irv Smith, tight end.
When you do that again,
have you ever been playing like a computer game and also it's crashed through no fault of your own? Especially if you haven't
played a computer game where I accidentally switched it off. Because I was getting beat 3-1 by AFC Wimbledon. I didn't think it was acceptable.
No. I mean, when an actual computer glitch has happened, it takes so much to climb back on that emotional horse. If it's I accidentally switched it off, you turn it back on because you're letting your anger fuel you. But when it's been for God's sake, it's a blow.
It is a blow, Neil. It is. Neil is at Endon13. I am at Mainz7. Combined, we are at waxing_lyrical. I'm going now to, get ready for the draft in 2 days. Enjoy. We'll be back next week to discuss all the picks and probably laugh at teams like Washington. These top guys are out.
They do best.